Principal Dr. Myrie Nelson, Faculty Dean, Mrs. Rochelle Porter-Linton, Associate Dean, Mrs. Beckford Cameron, invited guests, special technical services staff, or awardees, parents, viewers, everyone, welcome. I'm your host, your moderator. Principal Dr. Myrie Nelson, Faculty Dean, Mrs. Rochelle Porter-Linton, Associate Dean, Mrs. Beckford Cameron, members of the faculty, members of our marketing team, or technical services staff, specially invited guests, including our keynote speaker, members of the audience, parents, viewers, well-wishers, and our awardees. Welcome to our annual Virtual Students Seminar. I say annual and I say virtual, but this is our first year that we've had the luxury of using the technological platform to celebrate our students. We didn't do this by choice, of course, but we've made such a wonderful use of the technology provided to us. And it's only fitting that we do, because the theme this year for our student seminar is purposeful positioning, mastering skills and academics in a changing world, in this changing world. It was Malcolm X who said the future belongs to those who prepare for it. And this ceremony is a preparation, a launching board, and a recognition of the achievements of our students under the Faculty of Arts, Natural, and Social Sciences. Now we're live on location at the prestigious and illustrious Montego Bay Community College with our COVID rules and restrictions in full effect. We're also live via the Montego Bay Community College's YouTube streaming channel. Hello world, happy to see you too. I'm your moderator and host, Mr. Sinclair. It's a joy to be with you, even in this distanced position. And I must say, even though we've been forced to keep our distance, Our students have come closer to achieving their dreams and making success a hallmark of everything they do. After all, that is what we do here at this institution. Our program is going to be wonderful, vibrant, and as attractive as the courses, programs, and students we have at this college. I'm going to introduce you to one of those beautiful, successful beacons of light for the future. She's going to lead us in our invocation. Please welcome our Student Council Vice President and all-around superstar, Miss Emily Williams.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. As we gather here in the harbor of your safety, we thank you for allowing us to fellowship in this manner amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. We ask that you forgive us of our sins, known and even the unknown. We ask that you strengthen us, restore us, inspire us with your love. Fill us with your peace so that we may be able to pour out your love and grace to others that we may encounter. We ask that each message that is delivered here today will be fruitful, and that as students we will be receptive. We ask for a smooth flow of the program, Lord, as we aim to achieve development and inspiration. Let us start today with a heart of gratitude and a new attitude. In your precious and holy name, amen.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. At this time, we proceed by welcoming and recognizing the presence of our leader. Please allow me and help me in welcoming Dr. Myrie Nelson. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Let me just say again, that was very wonderful from our Student Council Vice President. At this time, we continue with the welcomes and the blessings. Allow me now to introduce you to our illustrious and amazing Dean, Mrs. Rochelle Porter-Linton.
Chairman, Mr. Lidge Sinclair. Principal, Dr. Myrie Nelson. Technical and marketing teams, distinguished guests, lecturers and students, good morning. Welcome to the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences Virtual Student Development Seminar. To our principal, Dr. Myrie Nelson, we are delighted and honored that you could attend this function today. And we thank you for your unwavering support of the faculty's endeavors. To our presenters, thank you for sharing your time and expertise with us. We are cognizant of the fact that you made sacrifices to insert this event in your full schedules. Thank you for your presence here. I would like to take this opportunity to extend a heartfelt welcome to our very important stakeholders. Yes, our students from the Montego Bay and Westmoreland campuses. Students, you have demonstrated profound resilience to continue your academic pursuits in the midst of a global pandemic with all its attendant problems. This seminar is for you, students. It is my fervent hope that it will strengthen your resolve to succeed. The Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences had its genesis with the young people with diverse. Gratitude is indeed extended to our diligent and dedicated lecturers who have played an integral role in facilitating our mandate is to ensure that there is the holistic development of our students. And this seminar is one significant step toward the achievement of this goal. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences of the Montego Bay Community College, welcome, welcome, welcome to our Student Development Seminar. It is indeed our pleasure to share this experience with you. Prepare yourselves to be challenged, to be motivated, and to be inspired. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Porter-Linton, Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences. It gives me great pleasure now to welcome to the platform, to bring greetings to us, our principal, Dr. Myrie Nelson.
Chairman, Mr. Lidge Sinclair, our keynote speaker, Mr. Alec Tomlin, now the Business Development Officer at NCB, and Mrs. Linton, I'm sure he was one of my past Student Council's president. Thank you. Our vice principals who are looking on virtually, of academics, Mrs. Carol Walters, Vice Principal Administration, Mrs. Colleen Ricketts-Evans, Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences, Mrs. Rochelle Linton, Associate Dean, Mrs. Nicola Beckford-Cameron, other deans, associate deans, directors, lecturers who have joined us virtually, our panelists, and I must mention by name those that I was told and happy to see, Mrs. Shawna Myrie from Hart, also my past student. Ms. Delta Wright is going to be in the capacity from UTEC, I'm told, our current lecturer in the faculty as well. I'm not seeing Kellio, Morgan Kellio, but she should have been here. I'm seeing Mr. Javian Anderson from CMU. I want to welcome you. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, and particularly the Ventura team that is here covering this event for us this morning, our marketing and technical support team, our marketing officer, Ms. Reed, and the technical team that is here assisting as well. All the persons who have joined us virtually, a pleasant good morning to everyone. I'm indeed honored to bring you greetings on behalf of the Board of Management, staff, and students of Montego Bay Community College. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 has transformed diverse elements of our lives, including the organization and delivery of education at all levels. Globally, we have been impacted severely. Consequently, your deans, Mrs. Linton and Mrs. Cameron, along with the other members of the faculty, have made the decision to have this seminar move from the traditional physical space at the Montego Bay Convention Center on the difficulties inherent in the suspension of face-to-face interactions. They have embraced creativity and found meaningful ways to facilitate this training opportunity for our students. Thank you both ladies. We are cognizant of your hectic schedule, sir. Meet virtually. Alex, I know you'd want to be here in this room with us because that's just who you are, but we are happy that you're going to be sharing with us virtually. We are convinced that your words will stimulate and inspire our students as we encourage them to purposefully position themselves by mastering academics and skills in this ever-changing world. I must acknowledge and welcome our vice principals, Mrs. Walters and Mrs. Evans. These ladies have continued to provide support and impact tremendously in all that we do at this institution. We greatly appreciate it and we wholeheartedly thank you. Now to my students, I'm delighted that your faculty have transformed quickly so that you did not lose the opportunity for this development training seminar. So for the few students that are in the room, I want to thank you for being here. And for all of you joining us virtually, it's going to be an exciting day today. I'm convinced of that. It's always a pleasure sharing in the seminars for the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and I know you're going to be benefiting tremendously today. Also, let me tender my gratitude to each and every faculty member for finding the time to execute this seminar today. It speaks volume of your sacrifice, dedication, and commitment to the well-being of our students. I do hope that the experiences of this day will be worth the sacrifices you have all made. Lecturers, believe me when I tell you that you're the driving forces and guiding stars for these students. The dream begins with a teacher who believes in a student, who tugs and pushes and leads a student to the next platoon. As lecturers, you are the fabric of this noble institution, who hold key positions of influence. You make an impact on everything you touch, on the minds, dreams, and characters of these students, on the world of ideas and their practical implications as you transfer knowledge and innovations to the world beyond our campus and onto the communities with which we engage locally and internationally. Congratulations to all members of this faculty who have made this event a reality. Lecturers, I use this platform to honor you, to applaud you. You have made so many struggles and sacrifices for these students, and I want to thank you all wholeheartedly. You all play a pivotal role in the growth of this institution, and I implore you to continue delivering excellent training and guidance to these young adults. We truly appreciate your dedicated sacrifice and the high standards you have all maintained. Let me extend a special welcome to all the students who are focused and ready for a thrilling experience today. Be assured that having logged on, you are prepared to learn more of the expectations of the industry as you leave the shores of Montego Bay Community College. Whether it is you're going on to seek employment or to other educational institutions, great opportunities are available for you. Going forward, you will need to diligently market yourselves, showing employers how competent, talented, motivated, and creative you are to perform in the workplace. As students of the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences, I implore you to maintain professional and ethical standards and continue to be guided by your creativity in innovations, experimentations, and inventions. The complexities of these unprecedented times have forced us to make prudent decisions. I urge you to persevere despite all the odds. During the course of today's seminar, there will be opportunities to be engaged, especially ideas. I am confident that they are going to laud you and congratulate you, especially those students who are going to be awarded their congratulations to you.
Thank you again, Dr. Nelson, for such a rich and genuine greeting, as always is. With you at the helm, the state of our union is strong, despite whatever challenges we face. We now welcome to the platform one of Dr. Nelson's proteges. It's going to be a filling of a generation gap as well, because we're going to have a student leader. So, as I leave here, I introduce you to the future of your future, Ms. Angelique Pinnock.
Chairman, Principal, Vice Principals, Dean, Associate Deans, lecturers, students of the Faculty of Natural and Social Sciences, and other faculties as well, well-wishers, parents, and specially invited guests and panelists, a pleasant good morning to you all. I have the great privilege of introducing our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Alec Ray Tomlin. He was born on November 18, 1991, and was raised in Red Hills, Montego Bay, St. James. For as long as he can remember, he has always been very involved in extracurricular activities and believes that this is important in every student's academic career. In his early years, he attended and graduated from Mount Alvernia Preparatory School, as well as Cornwall College, where he served in many capacities, whether in sports, the arts, or leadership positions. After leaving Cornwall in 2008, he moved on to the Montego Bay Community College, where he enrolled in the pre-university business program. While at MBCC, he represented the college in intercollegiate badminton and table tennis, as well as served as student council president for the academic year 2009 to 2010. He graduated in 2010 with 9 units of CXC CAPE, the Kiwanis Award for Leadership, and the Rotary Award for Service. In the same year, he was also recognized nationally as the Governor General Youth Awardee for outstanding leadership and service for the parish of St. James. He matriculated to the University of the West Indies Mona campus, where his extracurricular exploits would continue as he pursued his Bachelor's of Science degree in Management Studies, specialty in marketing. In his time at the institution, he would represent his Hall of Residence and the university in sports, on the Hall Committee, and ultimately on the Guild of Students as one of Rex Nettleford's Hall chairmen. Since graduating in 2014, he has worked in several areas, including food service, media, event coordinating, and banking. Currently, he works full-time at NCB Jamaica Limited, Hagley Park branch, in the capacity of Business Development Representative, and has been a production member of the Miss Jamaica World Organization for the last 3 years. As an avid entrepreneurial enthusiast, he juggles his full-time job at the bank as a part-time baker, as well as retailing men's beachwear and accessories through his second entrepreneurial venture, Official Beach Bum Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, lecturers, students, please help me to welcome Mr. Alec Tomlin, our guest speaker for today.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Alec Tomlin, and if you like my content, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share the video. So I heard that this was going to be on YouTube, so I said, why not just give them a little audition tape? But moving on to the real thing now. It's always a pleasure to be back here at home at the Montego Bay Community College, whether my presence is physical or virtual. I know that the last year in particular has been a super difficult one. Who would have thought that an entire year later that we would still be here, stuck in our homes? So that's why I thought it was completely appropriate that instead of dressing up in, any tight tie and suit, that I'd be here in my pajamas because I'm in my bedroom. I hope that even though it's been a very trying time though, that you guys have managed to remain safe, sane, and make the best of the situation thus far, because better days are definitely ahead. First off, I want to send a big thanks to the Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences for inviting me to give the keynote address for your seminar on the theme, Purposeful Positioning, Mastering Academics and Skills in a Changing World. When I heard the theme, I wondered if they're sure that they got the right person to speak, because I've never been a straight-A student. But after giving the topic some thought, I realized that they never asked me how to tell you to be one. Because if that were the case, then some of you would probably be better off speaking than me. What they did ask, however, is for me to give advice on utilizing the tools and knowledge developed at this institution to increase your chances of building a successful future. This theme really couldn't have come at a better time, especially that part about changing world, because let me tell you a little secret. This is actually my second time doing the presentation. The first time that I did it, I was here in a suit and I became the keynote speaker that I can remember sitting down in an auditorium listening to, and 10 minutes feeling like half an hour. And after Miss Taylor reviewed the video, gave me a little bit of tips, I realized that, especially in this time when it is that we're trying to engage virtually, dash with that, man, because that wasn't going to work. But in addressing you today, I'll be breaking down the theme though into smaller parts, telling you a little bit about my story along the way, and hopefully you're able to pull little gems from my experience that can help you in your own journeys. So since we're having this one-on-one conversation, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. Going back to the earliest version of Alec, I think that not a whole lot has changed because a lot of these things still ring true. So I can remember growing up and on every report card, they would say Alec has a lot of potential. Alec is a very smart boy, but Alec loved to chat. And that has not changed a bit at all. And you see how life funny? Because before it was a bad thing, but look at this now. School is now calling me back to come and talk to you guys. I was also very involved in school from a very young age. It would span from student leadership, sports, service clubs, you name it. Alec was involved. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I can remember being in prep school and I would make these flowers out of the little plastic cups and I would sell those flowers for $5. When I was in high school, it was CDs. And to this day, I always am looking for the next opportunity in terms of entrepreneurship. I always love to save. And look at me now, I'm working in a bank. And I'm very much a people person, so love to socialize. That is my favorite thing to do. Going around, getting to know people, nothing is better than that for me. A lot of these things, as I tell you, it has followed me throughout my life. When it is that I was a student at the Montego Bay Community College, I remember coming in and coming out of high school, I had a whole lot of responsibilities And coming to Montego, I wanted to change that. I came in and I remember I had a mohawk and I used to wear my shirt buttoned down to here. And I said, you know, finally I think I kind of break the shackles of the student leadership thing. But as fate would have it, I ended up becoming the student council president because that is something that is just ingrained in me. Service above self is definitely something that I just can't shake it off. But let me tell you, I'm very happy that I found my way back because that year in particular, it laid the groundwork for a lot of the success that I think that I've had up to this day. Currently, I work as a business development representative at the National Commercial Bank, where it is that I advise people how to put their best life forward through savings. I'm also a baker. I've been baking for the last 7 years. Started Heaven Sent Delectables in 2014, when it is that I would have just graduated from the University of the West Indies. And most recently in 2019, I would have started Official Beach Bum, retailing men's beachwear. I also worked in events, doing production, both with Jamaica Carnival Band, as well as the Miss Jamaica World Organization as one of the production assistants. So since my days at Montego, I've done quite a lot, and even now I'm still doing quite a lot. So moving right into it, the thing that I really came to talk to you about today is mastering these things, both academics and skills. Maybe I might not be able to give you so much information on the academics part of it. Maybe you can help me out with it. But I'll definitely try my best. One may think that the term mastering means that we need to follow through with a task to perfection. However, perfection is impossible. So instead of burdening yourself with that kind of pressure, just strive to do your best. Much like learning, mastering is a continuous process and it takes time, so you have to be patient. Many times during this process, we'll also encounter failure. When we miss it, So that's enough about me for a little bit, because I want to shift to the term mastering. One may think that the term mastering means that we need to follow through with a task to perfection. However, perfection is impossible. So instead of burdening yourself with that kind of pressure, instead just strive to do your best. Much like learning, mastering is a continuous process and it takes time, so you have to be patient. Many times during this process, we'll also encounter failure. When we make mistakes though, it's usually when we learn our greatest lessons. Do not fear failure, but be terrified of regret. And always remember, it's always better to have tried than just giving up. You see, when we talk about failure, I could tell you a lot about that. Particularly when I was in university, I had to repeat my final year. That for me was one of my hardest years. I felt extremely disappointed and I had to sit down and regroup because you can't let those things break you. And as I say, usually when it is that you fail, that is when it is that you really see the brightest light come back and bring you out of that dark hole. And it really takes a lot for you to be able to do that. One may think that the term mastering means that we need to follow through with a task to perfection. However, perfection is impossible. So instead of burdening yourself with that kind of pressure, instead just strive to do your best. Much like learning, mastering is a continuous process and it takes time, so you have to be patient. Many times during this process, you'll also encounter failure. When we make mistakes though, is usually when we learn our greatest lessons. So it's very important. Don't fear failure, but be terrified more of regret. And always remember, it's always better to have tried than to just give up. When it is that I would have started the company Heaven Sent Delectables, I really came out of school with a marketing degree and said, what next? So I wanted to try and build a brand from scratch, using particularly social media. My sister was a baker, And I said, all right, well, I have the knowledge of a marketer, so let's see how we can put those two heads together to make something work out. I had booked my first corporate catering, then my sister moved back to Montego Bay. I could have sat there and I said, boy, let me cancel, but I didn't. I went online and I searched recipes for about 5 days. And every day for that 5 days, I tried to bake one thing. And I picked out the 3 best things and I said, I'm going to work with these 3 things. And that is how it all started. After it is that I did that first corporate catering, because I was working at a restaurant while I was in school, I started trying to see if I could start selling these pastries through the restaurant. I remember I started out with 12, and when I did the 12, after an entire day, I think maybe only 4 sold the first day, threw away the rest of that batch. Came back and did another 12, and then the second time it was 8 that sold. Came back and did another 12, and then after that the entire 12 sold. And eventually it became something that a lot of people were requesting. So people would actually come to the restaurant just for the cupcakes. And on my best days, I could sell more than 100 cupcakes. And really and truly, that was as much as I could bake at the time. So it's something that you just have to keep on trying. When it is that you think you may have failed, you just have to try and rework certain things and push forward and stick with it, because it can really turn out to be a success in the future once you have the determination. So I want to ask a question. What is the most common thing that most people aim for in life? Whatever their end goal is, it's more than likely that the underlying motivator is to be successful. So when talking about this powerful word, there are a few questions that you have to ask yourself. What does success mean to you? How do you measure it? What are your goals? And what are the steps that you're going to need to take to achieve them? If you haven't figured it out already, it's all about perspective, because everyone's definition will be a little different. Starting points, ending points, and the timeline for your journey will always be different from the person beside you. Just like driving a car, you have to be observant of those around you, but be focused and in control of your own vehicle. So these are a few of the things that have worked for me. Finding something that motivates you. My family motivates me. I try my best to be successful so that I can be that beacon that pushes them forward the same way that they would have pushed me forward during my career. I also like to set short-term goals. By setting short-term goals, I'm able to do things on a task-by-task basis, and it makes the end easier or more in sight. I also give myself timelines. We do this so that we don't get stuck where it is that we are, and you're able to check in with yourself personally to make sure that you're always still progressing. You also have to ensure that you're always putting your effort into the right place, knowing when it's time to move on. So if you've ever heard the expression beating a dead horse, that's exactly what you don't want to do. You also have to continuously work on your weaknesses and try and turn them into strengths. Also, a big thing that has worked for me is turning my interests into income. So they've always said if it is that you really love a job, then you've never worked a day in your life. So look at the things in your life that you're really interested in and see how it is that you might be able to change it into something that can be profitable for you. And then you always have to try to be adaptable. In this world especially, things are always changing. So you have to make sure that you can move with the times, swim with the current, and make sure you don't drown. I know it's easier said than done, but you really have to look at the glass as half full. Now is the time for you to innovate and make your own path. You have to come up with a plan A, B, and even a plan C. Use the knowledge that you've gained to come up with career paths outside of the norm, or effect change in industries that currently exist by finding more efficient ways of operating. As the theme rightfully mentions, it's not just the academics that are important, but skills as well. The ability to network and socialize are soft skills that are often undermined, but prove to be even more important in some cases later on in life. Finding the right balance between excelling academically and nurturing those skills will be the key that helps you to transition smoothly to the next stage of life, whether you decide to continue to study or to join the world of work. The fact that you've made it this far, though, means that you're already well on your way. Today, I challenge you to take control of your life. Define your own version of success. Be deliberate in your goals. Remember that learning never stops, and never be afraid of change. I wish you all the best.
This year was definitely one for the books. Our very first encounter with online learning, which without a doubt we were 100% not ready for. After we were granted an extended summer, it was really hard to face the reality that learning would come from an inch-by-inch screen. And no, I know what you're thinking. It wasn't all YouTube.
We found ourselves navigating a whole new way through learning. It was uncharted territory and it was strange at first. We wanted to strive, but some days our low electricity service provider failed us, and the internet just never flowed. And they chose the worst day to throw tantrums too, when we had our tests. Nevertheless, attending class from your bed, eating as much as you wanted throughout the lectures, not having your facial expression scrutinized, were just some of the perks of the experience. There were good days and bad days. Some days that evaded us and some days that we made it through.
Even though this year took another round, there were some days when our old habits seeped in. 8:30 classes seemed earlier than normal. Sleeping in became more tempting and racing to catch Moodle before the portal closed, and last but not least, our honorable test-taking abilities. It was way easier to do this task. Probably made us way too comfortable. I know, I faced the consequences. I'm sure others did too. On the lab, the internet was just the tip of the iceberg. We faced so many issues that took a toll on our mentality, but we are at the end of the road, ready to take a step into our new normal with the adaptations that we need.
And that's really the most important thing I've taken from this experience. Adapt. Obviously, no one saw something like this coming. And when it happened, most of us just waited and waited, waiting for everything to go back to normal. Well, as we can see, it didn't. But we adapted, and we made it through. Barely, but we made it through.
Hi guys.
Good morning, everyone. Are you seeing my screen? Are you hearing me? Those were perhaps the most common statements you heard between March 2020 and today. Little did we know that by Friday, March 13, 2020, both our lives would be changed by COVID-19. From the gloomy Zoom to Google Meet to Microsoft Teams, many meeting links flooded our emails day after day as we tried to adjust and make that switch to the virtual space. I must admit that I initially had great reservations about switching totally to remote teaching. Trust me, we never want to do it. This is partly because the direct interaction with students is one of the things I enjoyed most about teaching, and I'm sure if all my colleagues were here today, they would agree that the ability to see your faces, see your expressions, especially when you are totally clueless about a new concept that we taught, and share with you in a physical space could not be replaced by an online learning platform. Nevertheless, our new school year started in October and we pressed on. This year was like no other, and it had its own advantages and disadvantages.
On the downside, we all had to deal with some form of disruption from our utility providers, and lack of proper internet service was definitely one of them. I distinctly remember one day when I lost service entirely and stood in a line in the sun for over 2 hours before I could have the issue resolved while communicate with the class that I would have had. Imagine, good, nice me, in the boiling COVID sun, trying to resolve my internet service for you, my students. And yes, I was texting you in Teams from my half-dead, constantly freezing, battery swelling, overheating, outdated device. There were days when electricity outages disrupted classes and exams, and I know you all loved those moments. Oh, miss, there is no electricity. I cannot do the test. Of course, there was no real way for us to check, so we had to work with whatever we were told as we tried to navigate the space. Apart from these issues, there were so many other things that either amazed us or made us a bit stressed, but we took each day in strides. According to biology and agricultural science lecturer Mr. McDonald, when I taught face-to-face classes, I had a tendency to ask more questions than I did give answers because I always hated the idea of long lectures. Then came week 1 of online school. I was teaching in a muted vacuum. I felt as if I was simply making videos with no audience in the studio. Each time I called out to a student to respond, they would say, "Sir, connectivity issues." Later on, they disappeared. We were all used to talking to students who would talk back to us and share with us. With online teaching, we were literally sitting in our homes with our devices, hoping that you would actually be listening to us and actually responding and not watching TikTok videos, WhatsApping in your class groups, and watching your favorite series, which of course, we are all aware that you probably did. Me definitely not fi ask Christ. We no longer had clearly defined lunch times or personal time because we were generally spending quite a bit of time that we already did not have to answer all your queries. Miss, did you see my email or my message on Teams? Miss, did you upload the recording? When is the test? What will we be tested on? There were so many questions. We are fully aware too of the days when you cursed us behind your muted mics because we changed the slides too fast, or the lecture was just too much, or we gave another past paper question which you were not prepared to do. My most memorable moment for the entire year was one day at the end of geography class when I said, "Any questions?" Dead silence. "Any questions?" Then a student blurted out, "Miss, you watch New Amsterdam?" So I said, "Excuse me, could you repeat?" The person said, "New Amsterdam, miss, want series on Netflix." At this point, me did well shook. Knowing me, I wondered if it was G-related. The student said, "Miss, you actually look like one of the lead characters in the show." Of course, even though I muted my mic and had a grand time laughing, I checked out the series and it was actually better than Grey's Anatomy. While there were fun moments, we all had our challenges. We stayed up for odd hours to get our material together, prepare PowerPoint presentations and everything else that you would have needed to learn. And each time we signed on, we definitely tried our best to ensure that it was worth it. Do you really think setting multiple choice exams on Moodle was easy? Think again. Do you think marking online was easy? Think again. While it was amazing that we did not have to drive or take a taxi to the physical space, some of us, like myself, ate a bit more, gained a bit more pounds, I won't share how much, and appreciated the ease of access to connect with my students. After all, who did not want that summer body after all these curfews and lockdowns? Imagine we could just boot our computers, open an app, make a few clicks, and we were in class. However, for some of us like myself, we did not know who we were speaking to as we never got a chance to meet you all. In the words of Mrs. Jones-Blake, lecturer on the associate degree program in our faculty, this pandemic definitely served as a source of courage, strength, and resilience. It added another layer of panic to the already stressful times that college may bring. With the future cloaked with uncertainty and no classroom environment to spark inspiration, friends to meet and greet, no lunch to eat from your favorite place, your motivation levels probably dwindled, but you stood the test, jumped the hurdles, and you continued the race to mastering greatness. So today, I stand here COVID-free with my 1 dose of AstraZeneca to tell you, congratulations. Congratulations to sticking to the task, for positioning yourself to achieve more in these unprecedented times. As your lecturers, we know that it was difficult, and we salute you for being patient with us, understanding, and also motivating us on days when we ourselves felt as if we could not make it. When you really think we like 8:30 classes, think again. It is definitely not because of the pay, but because of you why we are here today. And we will live to tell so many other students about this outstanding year. So, as you leave us, as you leave this faculty and chart your path to greatness, in the words of Mrs. Beckford Cameron, our Associate Dean, this is the year when we were all dealt limes, but together we made lemonade. Remember to always explore your options, overcome your obstacles, and emerge the best version of yourselves. And please, for God's sake, do yourself a favor and remember to watch all those recordings.
Special thanks are extended to not only our keynote speaker, our reflection presenters, and to our marvelous program coordinator and all-around student builder, Ms. Javel Taylor. It is fantastic. Now, Dr. Nelson had warned us. She said it would be an exciting seminar. I know you may have thought it would have just been tradition, next up, but we will continue in this vein of fluidity and dynamism, because we are perfectly positioned to show you how our skills are being mastered in this changing world. So at this time, we're going to take a dynamic look as we celebrate and recognize the achievements of our top learners, our top awardees, and our exemplars of the Montego Bay Community College. So join me in celebrating the best of the best.
Let's recognize our students who received 4 grade 1s. Andis Brown, Angelique Pinnock. These are our students who received 3 grade 1s. Soini Alexander, Kathy Ong, Kerryanne Guthrie, Imani Kelly, Malika Little, Tajna Myers. These are our students who received 2 grade 1s. Amani Allen, Rihanna Dunkley, Tamia Hines, Roshni Honeygan, Ashley Marie McCarthy, Devontae McIntosh, Rikayla Rowe, Rachel Cireo, Cherise Thompson, Ashley Whitley, Aliyah Whitley. These are our students who got grade 1. Breniqua Allen, Doniel Chapman, Gabriel Cooper, Britannia Ferguson, Tori Harrison, Janae Humphrey, Brianna Lemont, Bianca McFarlane, Kelly McPherson, Judine Mullings, Ayana Pearson, Owen Robinson, Cordella Rose, Britannia Samuels, Andre Smith, Jason Thompson, Kiana Thompson, Emily Williams, Oshane Williams, Malay Wilmot.
These are our outstanding students under the Associate's Degree programs. Shannon Perkis, Renika Small, Alditha Samuels, Chrisanne Christie, Monette Hall, Renika Morris, Trishelle Koch, Orion Salmon, Janelle Morris, Nikayla McIntyre. These are our top students in the Associate's Degree program in Social Work for the Frome campus. Shanoya Drummond, Orlandi Lawson, Ashanti Barrett, and these are our outstanding students from each program. Andise Brown, Angelique Pinnock, Student Counselor Emily Williams, Aaliyah Whitley,
Roseanne Christie, Shannon Perkis, Shanoya Drummond, and these are our exemplary awardees. Congratulations!
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce to you this morning's panel that will speak to you regarding our topic or theme, purposeful positioning, mastering skills and academics in a changing world. Miss Morgan Kelly. Miss Morgan Kelly is a past student of the Montego Community College. During her tenure at the college, she excelled in her academics while being the student council president and was well involved in the life of the college overall. She then went to study law at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, Barbados campus, where she graduated with first-class honors. While at the UWI, she also served the Guild of Students as the events officer. She was also named Hall Queen, Vice President of CARICOM Relations for USAT, and the Public Relations Officer of the Frank Worrell Hall. Apart from her academic pursuits, she is also involved in the community and strongly believes in giving back. In 2020, she was the Speaker of the House for the National Youth Parliament 2020, and she was also named the Sagicor Community Hero Awardee for 2021. She is currently enrolled at the Norman Manley Law School in her final year, and she continues to serve UWI in the capacity of tutor in the Faculty of Law. She lives by the philosophy, don't quit, suffer now and live the rest of your life like a champion. Miss Kelly, who is also the founding director of MK Tutoring Services, is a lover of elephants, as well as an articulate and avid event host who also has high hopes of being professionally involved in the public service. Mr. Javian Anderson. Javian Anthony Anderson is a 21-year-old third-year student at the Caribbean Maritime University, pursuing a bachelor's in logistics and supply chain management. Javian has always had a knack for leadership, and he was a prefect at his primary school, and this continued to Monroe College, where he was the fire and safety representative for 3 years. He is a past student of the Montego Bay Community College, where he was a member of this illustrious faculty. He also served as sports captain. When he started CMU, he went in with a renewed mindset after not being accepted into law. He was determined to bloom where he was planted and to achieve all he could while at this university. At the Western Campus for CMU, he has been serving as the campus representative for 2 consecutive years. He is the first president to hold this position in his 3rd year. Javian is a father of a beautiful little girl and also a business owner of Javi Prints and Javi Cakes. He is also the lead night auditor at the S Hotel, where he works full-time while being a full-time student at CMU. He is also the research and outreach director for the St. James Leaders and is also active in his church as the drummer. Javian is a lover of life and loves to make an impact where life leads him. Miss Tonianne MacDonald. Tonianne C. MacDonald is the founder and the Chief Operating Officer of Author to Author Publishers International, an innovative company in the publishing arena. Tonianne boasts a fiercely flourishing career as an entrepreneur, author, coach, and a professional speaker. Tonianne is a book and storytelling coach with expertise in publishing, consulting, training, team building, project management, law, call center management, brand development, and marketing research, among so many other things. Tonianne holds a bachelor's degree in law and is pending her master's from the University of London. Tonianne's philosophy is, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. John Brown. After publishing her first book and being rejected by several publishing companies, Tonianne founded Author to Author Publishers, a company helping aspiring authors publish their books. Tonian is a book, turtle, and wine lover. She is also a self-professed inspirational quote junkie. Her quote is, "Be like a turtle. You may be slow, but you are sure." Miss Delta Wright. Miss Delta Wright is an assistant lecturer at the Montego Community College in the beautiful tourist-centric parish of St. James. As an educator, her area of expertise is in STEM education, teaching chemistry, biology, and environmental science courses at the associate degree level, with over 5 years of experience in academia at both the secondary and tertiary levels. Currently, she volunteers with the Jamaicans Abroad Helping Jamaicans at Home Foundation, serving in the capacity of sponsorship and communications coordinator, helping to strengthen Jamaica's public health care and education systems. She has served as secretary for the Partners of America's Western New York chapter, president of the UTEC Students Union Council, assistant manager of the collegiate sports team representing Jamaica at the 12th Annual International University Sports Federation World University Games in South Korea, and president of the Association of Science Teachers of Jamaica Eastern Region. In 2019, she guided a team of enthusiastic science students to success in the annual Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica's School Energy Competition. Additionally, she is a certified project manager, earning her certification from the University of West Indies Open Campus. Her passion for the environment, its conservation and protection go beyond the classroom, as at home she is an avid recycler of plastics, and she encourages her immediate network to do the same. She also has a compost heap which she uses for her vegetable garden, and she actively writes about environmental issues of concern in Jamaica in the local newspaper. She is committed to education, leadership, and environmental sustainability, and will continue to influence her students to be aware of their environmental responsibility and create innovative ways of saving our environment. Our final panelist for this morning is Miss Shawna Newsom Myrie. Shawna Newsom Myrie is an intrinsically motivated, solution and target-oriented professional with over 25 years experience in hospitality management, training, leadership, events planning, budget development, marketing, customer service, and project management. She demonstrates strong leadership skills with proven ability to empower employees to achieve success. Shawna holds a master's in business administration with emphasis in human resource management, an associate degree in food and beverage management, a diploma in marketing and sales management, a bachelor's degree in hotel and resort management, a postgraduate diploma in Tibet management. She is a certified hospitality educator and assessor and has completed training in several areas to include corporate strategic planning, project management, behavioral interview techniques, supervisory management, quality audit, state protocol, and event management. She has been employed to the High Trust NTA for the last 19 years and has served in various positions over 5 locations. She currently serves as the director of the Hart College of Hospitality Services and the Cardiff Hotel and Spa in Runaway Bay, St. Anne. Her involvement in the community has her serving as board chairman of EBA Prep and also a board member at Hudson Premier Academy. She is a volunteer housekeeping instructor for her church's social intervention program and dedicates 4 hours each week to train young people in the skill area. She strongly believes that as stewards of God, it is our duty to use our time and talents in advancing the kingdom of God. Her hobbies include cooking, training, traveling, preaching, and giving inspirational talks. Her guiding principle is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite our panelists to speak to you.
Heartiest thanks to Ms. Desiree Crooks for such an exhaustive introduction. So thank you. And I thank my panelists in advance, the Fantastic Five, for agreeing to be here. I just figured out that your days actually have, based on the information, 47.5 hours in your day. So I have an additional question for the panelists today. How? We're all amazed, and I know we started with an air of amazement. So it's wonderful to be able to continue the thread like this. I'll start by asking all of you a very simple question for which our students and our already inspired listeners can get some information. Just in 2-minute brief detail, what your job entails and how you became interested in this actual area. Just 2 minutes, just be like, smile, and let us, we know you're exemplary, so we want to get some of the trade secrets. Please don't hide them. Oh.
I'll go ahead.
All right, we can start with, of course, Ms. Tony-Ann.
Thank you all again for having me today. It's always good to come back to Montego Bay Community College. As a past student, I've learned a lot here. But in terms of the question that you asked, how did I become an author, coach, entrepreneur? Professionally, my academics will say that I'm supposed to be an attorney. I'm actually enrolled I'm actually started my master's. But in my final year at UTech, I was diagnosed with a life condition called glaucoma. And that changed the trajectory of my life. No one wants to hire a blind attorney. No one wants to marry someone who is blind. So I had to change my entire life. And in doing so, I found my passion. I found my purpose. Like the guest speaker, for every report card my mother collect, I was always talking. The only year I didn't talk was when I came to come see, because I wanted something different. But it's so funny that the things that we run away from is the thing that we're actually very good at. So I didn't know anything about publishing, but I had one mission. I wanted to help others. I didn't know anything about writing, but I wanted to help others. I'm standing here today glaucoma-free because I research. I'm standing here today because I applied natural food to ensure that I'm able to live a better life. So my advice to young persons out there is, don't be afraid to fail. Fail. Fail again, fail better, and fail forward. Because through those failures, I have unlocked so many talents about myself. I'm able to stretch myself beyond my own limitations per se. I didn't know that I could write. I didn't know I could publish. I didn't know I could coach. I mean, little old me, people want to call me to say, hey, I'm interested in writing a book, can you help me? Just the thought of that alone. Believe that whomever you are, you have something special inside of you. And every day that you get up, know that God is not finished with you. So believe in yourself, whether it's academics or it's professional, master those skills. Don't allow your degrees to stop you. If you're interested in something, go ahead and get it done. Hone your skills, perfect it. Primarily now in the virtual space, we're looking for experts, not generalists. So hone your skills, hone it properly, and put yourself out there. Leave your imprint in this world and leave a legacy. That's my advice for you guys.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you. We'd like to continue with the thread of that question and extend it to all our panelists. Morgan, would you?
Sure, definitely. So first, I'd just like to start off and say, what an intimidating panel. I am so humbled to be a part of this panel of excellent individuals, each in their own right. I still can't believe I'm really sitting here amongst them. It's crazy to me, but I'm still grateful and humbled by the fact. And of course, always enthusiastic and excited to come back to the Montego Bay Community College, the school I love so dearly. But anyways, my how did I get into my job? Well, technically I'm not working yet. Hopefully by the end of this year I will be. But how did I get into law? So, like Mr. Tomlin said, I have a passion for talking. Every single report card, always talking. As well as I have a passion for volunteerism or service. So like you have heard in my introduction, I really want to work in the public service when I do become an attorney. So I think finding a balance or a mixture between that, I was able to really find my passion with law in terms of advocacy, advocating on behalf of other people, advocating for persons' rights and so forth. And that's where I found my purpose within that faculty or within that arena. Throughout my law journey, yes, I know you hear the first class honors and you hear all the accolades, but I'll tell you that it has not been the easiest. Right now I'm actually preparing for my final set of exams, and I don't think I really enjoyed my last 2 years of law school because it's just been so hard. But I think what I used to remind myself, and I think the theme is so it's so fitting right now, purposeful positioning or positioning yourself for purpose. When you have a purpose, there's no way you can escape it. There's no way you can shake it off. I heard Alec say in his presentation to you all that when he came to come see you, wore mohawk, him shirt down, and he wanted to kind of relax the leadership thing. But at the end of the day, he still became student council president because that's just something that's ingrained in him. Similarly with me, well, in my situation, at one point at law school, I wanted to take a break. I was like, what am I doing? I'm not sure if this is it anymore. But it is my purpose, and I have to stay the course. I'll also tell you about failure. When I was at UE in my second year, I didn't fail 2 courses, but I got failing grades on my coursework. But how it works is that you get the coursework and examination. So I passed my examination, so in all, I passed the exam, so I didn't have to sit anymore. But at that point in my life when I failed, quote unquote, to me, it was so mind-blowing to me. I wasn't sure again if I should be continuing to do this. But at the end of the day, and like the guest speaker, I think he highlighted so many important points, was that when you find yourself in a sense of failure at that point in your life, that is when you really start to see the light. That is when you really start to position yourself. Where am I going? What is my passion? Is my passion aligning with my purpose? Am I really supposed to be doing this? And I think those things have assisted me throughout my law or my legal journey to really make me feel like I'm positioned and I'm in the right place or what I'm really called upon this earth to do. So my advice to you all is to embrace failure if it comes or when it comes, because it may not come in a way that you think that it may come, but it will come. Embrace it. Understand who you are, understand what you're called to do, and even sometimes when we think we want to shake it off, embrace who we really are and what we're really supposed to be doing, and just hit things head on and continue the course. I know how difficult it is because, like I said, I'm not working yet, so I'm still a student. So I know the online difficulties, I know the flow not flowing, I know you're tired of hearing the lecture talk over the screen, I know you're cussing behind the mic, I know all of it. But just continue to stay the course, continue to see change, adapt to the changing times that we're in, because we're going to be in a constant sense of changing times, and continue to embrace the journey for your purposeful positioning. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think she defeats the stereotype of a mean teacher. So if you're worried about your experience in law and you're having someone like Morgan in front of you, I doubt there's much to worry about, right, Tonya? Let's hear from Sir Javian, and we'll just travel on the line with that same question. Tell us about what led your interest in your field or your study currently.
All right, so firstly, thank you for that question, Mr. Sinclair. Greetings to everyone logged in today. I hope you all are staying positive and testing negative in these unprecedented times. If I am supposed to be completely honest, what led me or what interests me in this field that I am currently pursuing was failure. Failure how? I wanted to do law, and I did not get accepted into law. It wasn't a case where I did not have the resources or, I did not get accepted. So at that point in time, I felt as if, as a non-swimmer, I was thrown out into the deep and I was left paddling for my life. I went on a search or a quest to find somewhere where I can further my education, because I've always been hearing education is the key to success. And from there, my parents introduced me to the Caribbean Maritime University. And it is so funny that when they introduced this institution to me, I said, no man, I cross school that. And they're saying, no man, Javian, do some research and find out a little bit more about this school. So when I was doing my research about the Caribbean Maritime University, I realized that this institution, it is so diverse, and the innate and cognitive skills that I can acquire from this institution, trust me, it is endless, right? We are on a quest to redefine maritime excellence through innovation and technology. And those two words there, innovation and technology, those two words piqued my interest. And from there, I matriculated to the Caribbean Maritime University from the Montego Bay Community College. And trust me, I have not regretted it 1 ounce.
Well, thank you. Yes. That silence there is a silence of, I would say, reverence for your delivery. And the fact that the ladies here are blessed to have such an exemplary young man in their midst. Ms. Wright, would you continue for us, please?
Yes. So again, thanks also to the faculty for having me here, and also for the panelists to be here. And I realize that the common thread that we've been really talking about is failure. And to really just add to everything that everybody has said is that not only to embrace failure, but to use it as a teaching tool. We need to learn from our mistakes, right? And I have so many examples that I could talk about from my studies at UTEP, but how did I find education? I didn't. Education found me. So I'm surrounded by people who attended this prestigious institution. I too wanted to come to Montego Bay Community College, but after finishing my studies at Montego Bay High, my parents sat me down and they said, look, Delta, we don't have the money to fund your education any further, right? And so I spent literally a year at home crying because I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go. And because of the Heart Trust, I actually enrolled in a program that found me a place of employment once I was 17. And luckily it was at a school, right? So at that school, I started to learn how to teach, right? And I found that I enjoyed it and that the students actually learned. So from there, again, my parents reached out to me and they said, look, you know, science is something that you do. I did the sciences at Montego Bay High. The Ministry of Education was at the time offering a scholarship for persons to go and study STEM at UTEC. And everything lined up and it was the perfect opportunity. And so there I went and I studied my Bachelor's of Science with a double major in biology and chemistry. So I do literally 3 degrees in one, because there's also an education component to it. And so literally, to put it mildly, education found me, I didn't find it. And it also became a part of the struggles and challenges and failures, as you would put it. So in learning from your failures, in embracing them, you can use it as a catalyst to drive you forward. Never in a million years would I think that I'd be in an institution like this, sharing my story and also being able to impart knowledge to young people to help and guide them on their path to purposeful mastering of their skills in academics, right? So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Delta. Shawna, please, just continue the trend, because I realize there's also a relationship. We're coming full circle.
Full circle.
Yes, sir.
It is really my joy and pleasure to be here, and it's always a joy to come back home to the Montego Bay Community College, because a part of my journey came through this institution as well. And maybe failure is what propelled me to be where I am today also. Because when I left boarding school, Hampton, and came to Montego Bay, I felt free. I felt like finally I was let out of a cage. And so coming to Montego Bay Community College, I lost a little bit of focus. My first year, my first semester. And I remember Mrs. Nelson sat me down in her office one day and said, Shawna, these grades cannot continue. I remember my costing grades were so low, and she sat me down and she really guided me along. And the next exams, I taught the class not only for Montego Bay, but across UTEC and Knox. And so my journey in leadership has been a great one. Having left Montego Bay, I went after completing UTEC, went into the industry to work. But I wanted so much more. I think I was a born leader. And so I worked at Half Moon in housekeeping for a while in supervision. But then I wanted more. And promised positions were not fulfilled. And so I was one of those bold persons who would, when I see a job in advertised, even I'm not qualified, I would apply and go. I remember a position being offered for a general manager at a hotel, and I applied. Got called for the interview. I had just left college, and I was called for the interview. I found my best suit, and I went to Kingston for that interview. And I was a bit intimidated when I saw the caliber of people that were sitting in the same room waiting to be interviewed. But I went, did the interview. It was a great experience for me. Didn't get a job, but I got the experience. And so one thing where I went into heart as an instructor teaching hospitality skills. And I've always been in leadership. After 2 years as an instructor, I moved up to the senior instructor, then to head of school. And so my journey has always been climbing. And whenever I see an opportunity, even if it means having to relocate, I was willing to do that. And so sometimes you have to move out of your comfort zone in order for you to move up. And that for me has been one of my mandates. Whenever I see an opportunity come or somebody make an offer, I never say no. And for me, that is one of the things that really propels me. I remember one of my bosses saying to me one day that, can you act for me when I'm going on vacation? And I said, sure. And he said to me that profoundly stuck with me throughout my career was that, Shawna, if you said no, or if you said to me, let me go think about it, I would not have come back to you. And so I never say no to opportunities when they come. And that is what I want to say to the students. I'm no longer at the Cardiff and Broadway Bay Heart. I'm now the regional director, covering the region for these 3 parishes in Western Jamaica, for training across the Heart locations. And so the sky's the limit, and you only have to put your best foot forward and know that great opportunities exist. I tell persons that when I came to Mobe Comsi, I registered for Prioritization to study medicine. Didn't get into medicine because I never had grade 2 in physics. And so I was told to go sit out for a year. And I moved into hospitality, and that is what really propelled me forward. Having a skill is so important, especially in these challenging times, because you can do so much and you can accomplish so much with a skill. And I tell people all the time, I live on the mandate, skill is power. It can take you places, especially in these difficult times.
Thank you. I just listening to you, I only hope that our viewers that are watching online and those with us now are really feeling the way we are. Because even as adults and older persons in the field of achievement, we are here looking on and listening and being inspired as well. Skill building was one common trait we noticed from all of our Fantastic Five. They have continued to build their skills and put additional hours in their days. So I'd like to ask, on behalf of the persons viewing and myself, what are some of those skills you think we need to have, they need to have, to actually advance themselves and be as successful as they should be? Can we start with your young one? We'll just travel down the thing.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to share a little joke with everybody. So when Miss Johnson and Miss Taylor asked me to be a panelist, at first Miss Johnson said she wanted to come and speak about my experience in school and so forth. Then I saw the theme and it said mastering skills and academics, and I was like, skills? Because I don't know what to do here. I don't do makeup, I don't sell clothes, I'm not interested in any of that. So I was like, what do you mean, me to come and talk about skills? And then when they broke it down, because I was up in my head about it, and they broke it down and they're saying, no, Morgan, but you talk, and that's also your skill. You're a hard worker, that's also your skill. So basically what I really want to say before I get into how to advance your skills is, don't put yourself in a box. Because you probably don't have one of those practical skills like what I've listed before, it doesn't mean that you don't have skills that you can hone or master to become your best self. So for me, I think, as I've been saying before, one of my skills is definitely talking a lot. I also think that I am a hard worker as well, and whatever I put my mind to, I always put my all into it. So those are things for me. Also managing my time, so maintaining a balance. While I was at ComC, I was involved in almost everything, and I was also doing very well academically. The same thing when I was at university, and even though I know my manually. So those are also skills that you have to also master to also become your best self. So for me, in terms of mastering it, it's just to recognize that these are your skills. That's the first step. Understanding that this is what I'm good at, these are my specific skills and they're particular to me. How do I now master them? After your recognition of these skills, you continue to work on them. How can I manage my time better? How can I use my talking for good? So for me, now that you've heard, I'm an adjunct tutor at the university. So I think that's me using my talking for good because my students seem to be learning. So I think it's working. Also, how do I put myself more into my work? So when you recognize and you try to understand, how do I be better at this particular skill, and constantly working on your skills. So you take classes. For me, sometimes I watch videos on how to make presentations. How do I manage my time better? I go out to separate presentations just to hear about those things. So I learn, even though I know that I'm good at this thing, I continue to learn about how can I be better at it. So that's my advice. Recognize your skills, understand that these skills are particular and specific to you. Understanding how to become better at them, working on them, and always constantly learning new things about those particular skills and always working on them.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sinclair, once more. So some of the skills that I would say is needed in today's society, in a changing society, to progress as an individual, a young man, a young woman in today's dystopian society. Number one is time management skills. Number two is communication skills. And number three, and this is a very touchy one, is networking. I want to start with networking. At the Montego Bay Community College is where I first found out the importance of networking. Students watching now can all agree that if you want to go around student services and get through fast, you have to have a link with Chef. Simple as it may sound, that is networking. Your network determines your net worth. Right? And that's not a speech of mine, but it's something I heard, and trust me, I definitely thought about it, and it makes a lot of sense. You need to learn how to network also with the right people, because you can have a network and it is only leading you to destruction. If you want to see yourself elevate, you need to surround yourself with individuals who are at a higher level than you, who have the same mindset of you as you, a positive mindset. And as I said, positive mindset, one of my quotes is, let us continue to manifest a positive mindset and keep moving forward. Right? A positive mindset in today's society can go a far way. So back to the networking. Networking can put you in positions, put you in places that your education cannot get you, and that's just reality. Networking allowed me to have the position at my hotel as a night auditor. Right? Leaving the Montego Bay Community College, I wanted to make some money like any other teenager leaving school. And I think it was a summer 2019 or 2018, I decided that, look, I have to get to work. And I started to make some calls. And I remember that, in 2017 I went on a summer program and I made a wonderful relationship with this human resource manager from a specific place. So I wonder if I can call her and ask her if there's anything available at where she is. And I made the call, and people would say, lo and behold, they said that they had a position for me. Next one is communication skills. You may be placed in certain positions where your communication skills has to be perfect or almost perfect. As a leader, a student leader, and as a member of a leadership organization as well, as a night auditor at a hotel, as a parent, as a student, you have to have great communication skills. I always say to my team, big up to the CMU Western Campus Students Union, a breakdown in communication is the first step to failure. You always have to ensure that you and whoever it is that you are working with, you guys are on the same level, you guys are understanding, you're on the same page. Because I can say to one individual, you know, I'm going downtown tomorrow to get some business done. And I leave it at that. The individual now comes downtown because that sounds like an invitation, calling me now to find out where I am. And I'm saying, what are you talking about? I didn't tell you to come downtown. You need to communicate to say, listen, I'm going downtown, I don't need you to come, but I'm going to start out some business and give you a call and let you know what you should do to give me some information so we can get this business started out. Right? And that also leads into the time management skills, as I am prompt for time here as well. Time management, and personally I must say, I still struggle with that, but I am working on it. I'm a full-time student at the Caribbean Maritime University Western Campus, a full-time employee at the S Hotel. I am a drummer at my church. Right? I am the director of outreach and research for the St. James Youth Leaders Organization. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. I'm a business owner of Javi Prints, a registered business. Trying to start another business, Javi Kicks. Trying to invest into the Forex market, trying to invest in Bitcoin. People, all of this what I'm saying, it needs proper time management skills. You have to try and plan your day, plan your week, plan your months in accordance to how you want your life to be in the future. And in doing this, you cannot forget your family. You cannot forget your relationships. You cannot forget to have time for yourself. So time management is one aspect as well that is very important. It's a skill that is needed, and especially matriculating from a community college, a university to the working world, you're going to see where time management skill is very important, because you're going to have to meet deadlines while juggling your personal life at home. You have to meet deadlines at work while you have deadlines at home. You're probably trying to study for your master's and you have this coursework and your employer is saying, listen man, you have to do this at work before the scheduled time. You're going to have to master time management skills. So those three skills, that's all I'm putting out there. Networking, communication skills, and also your time management skills. Thank you.
Profound. Without further ado.
For me, I would like to start with digitalizing your skills. Whatever skills you have, ensure that you're able to sell it, deliver it digitally. So whether or not you are doing books, you are writing, you're a social media marketer, ensure that your skills are able to be delivered digitally. Use technology wisely. In the atmosphere that we're currently living in now, if you're not digital, if you're not virtual, you're literally nowhere. So use technology to your advantage. My second point would be people and relationship skills. Build healthy relationship with others. It doesn't matter what's going on, but build relationships with business or personal relationships. So if you should lose contact with that person, they are able to mention your names in rooms that you're not yet a part of, because this is how we're going to grow. I've been invited for several boards that I'm not in these conversations, but because of my delivery, my ability to execute, those are some stuff that have followed me thus far. And my all-time favorite that I share with all of my clients, time management and planning. It's critical. Plan in advance. Get yourself a planner. Get yourself an app. Plan. You don't get up each day and say, boy, what am I going to do today? No. Reflect the day before. What are the to-do things that you're going to do for tomorrow? What are the things, what are the goals that you want to accomplish this week? Plan in advance. So this is a skill that I've used recently. Every year I normally have these big lavish vision boards and I say, yeah, I'm going to accomplish great things. And to be honest, when I have these lavish vision boards, it's only one or two things I accomplish. So this is what I did. I did the reverse. I posted a blank paper on my wall, and each month I ensure that I give myself 3 targets. 3 targets in 3 different aspects of my life. And each month I post my accomplishment on the wall. So I post the things that I got done. So instead of pulling them off, I post them to say, hey, I got this client. Hey, this is my income. Hey, this is my award. So I post these things for myself. So find something that works for you. So again, build people skill, communicate well, time management, and digitalize your services. That's it for me, guys.
All right, great. And just to add to what Tony and also Javi have been saying about time management, I like to even push it a little further and say time prioritization, right? Because you clearly outlined that, all of us have 48 hours in a day, right? And while attending UTEC as well, I remember at the time the sports director was saying, if you have used all your 24 hours in the day, add another 24 hours to it, right? So really it's time prioritization, and for the students that are out there, you have assignments that are due, you have IAs that are due, you have exams that are coming up. So really and truly, what tops the list? What do you need to get done now, right? And that's what we mean about time prioritization, yes? And also to add to what Tony said in terms of planning your days. I cannot remember a day where I wake up and I don't know what I'm going to be doing, because my days are planned weeks, months, years before, right? I mean, some persons, they'd call me and like, hey, what are you doing today? And I tell them exactly what I'm going to be doing and exactly what time, because that has already been planned out, yes? So time prioritization, I agree with everyone, is necessary now, especially in this online environment where most persons are at home. We can get distracted with so many things. Persons who have children, or your little brothers or sisters or cousins, they're there, right? So how do we manage and prioritize? So that's really what it is. But my 2 things that I'd like to say is necessary now is, and the top one, let me start with the bottom one first. So the bottom one is influence and leadership, which goes into everything that has been said about communication and building relationships, right? So in this time, more than ever, we need people to be stepping out and stepping up, because you have persons who are stepping back to say, I don't know what's happening in this COVID environment. And then there are persons that are saying, but this should be happening. So be the person to step out and be in this unprecedented time to say, all right, I'm going to try this because nobody else is doing it. Yes? Look at all the companies that have come up in COVID-19 and all the ones that fell, right? The companies have come up, I see what the government have out now where you ends, right? Where it is that persons now have delivery systems. It's like Jamaica has its own Uber Eats, right? If that would not have happened if COVID did not happen. You understand? So we definitely need to see the opportunities that are there and to be leaders, to step up and step out, right? To do the things that people are not willing to do, to stand out above the rest. And my top thing, every day when I watch local TV, the Ministry of Health has this ad to say, you need to take care of your mental health, you need to, relax, you need to do meditation and all of these things. A lot of words that are really new to a lot of us. What I say is that you need to learn how to be and stay motivated, right? Because that is the number one thing. My lovely friend over there, I forgot your name, sorry, Morgan, said that in year 2 she felt like she was gonna quit because she failed. She didn't know if it was there before, but she stood the course. She learned how to motivate herself and to stay motivated. When I was in my 3rd year at UTech, I failed a course, not once, not twice, but 3 times, right? Now tell me, who would really sit down and pay UTech $20,000 3 times for the same course, right? That could have made me say, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm not going to do this. But I had a different mindset, and my mindset was that, okay, in the beginning, failure was not an option, but then failure came. So what do? I pick myself, I brush myself off, and I was like, okay, what was I doing that led me to be a failure or to fail this course, right? Because I'm not a failure, I just failed a course. And the simple thing was that the lecturer taught one section and left us to read the rest. And then I remembered, the first day I stepped into UTech, they said you read for your degree. So never you go into a classroom and expect that the lecturer is going to Montego Bay come see spoon feed, just letting you guys know, right? You read for your degree. And so what I did, I maxed out for the semester, how much would it cost me if I took out the textbook for the entire semester? And that's what I did. I took out the book for the entire semester and I read from cover to cover. It was organic chemistry. I hated organic chemistry then. It is now my favorite subject to teach. Right? And so it cost me, I saved $20 every day, and then I just paid the overcharge fees at the library because I'm not failing this course again. So I had to stay motivated. I had to learn what motivates me and to do that. Some people it's listening to Christian music. Some people it's going out and talking to your neighbor or so on. But you need to learn how to be and stay motivated in this world now where it is that it's ever changing. This weekend we can go home at 4. Next weekend we have to go home at 12. It's frustrating, I understand, but you also need to stop, think, and understand that you need to survive so that the persons who are going to come after you will be able to learn from your strengths as well. All right? So that's it for me.
Yes. And a lot has been said about the skills. And other than mastering your skills, we speak about leadership, we speak about communication, we speak about the whole point of networking and so on. And all of these skills are very important. The soft skills is really what differentiates an individual, because you could be great at your art, great being an engineer, whatever skill areas that you would have chosen for yourself. The soft skills are important, and if you look and see what is happening in the firms or in companies, really and truly, you come with your strong skill sets. But if you don't have the soft skill, if you can't manage your time, if you can't communicate well, if you can't network, if you can't think critically, then persons are not willing to hire you. And having been in the area of doing a lot of research and also ensuring that persons looking at what are the skills that employers are looking for, how do you identify and tap into those talents? You find out that a lot of employers, they are willing to hire somebody who does not even master their craft, but has the right attitude and have the right skill set. And that is what is going to differentiate you from others, because if you are very good at your craft and you can't manage your time and you can't think critically, and especially now in this time that we are forced to think outside of the box, How are we going to differentiate ourselves? How are you going to position yourself? What kind of brand are you building for yourself that is going to be different and that is going to be future-proof? Because the truth is that some of the skill sets that we thought we needed then, we don't need now, and we won't need in the future. And so as you explore the opportunities at home, you also have to look and to see where is the world headed. You know, for the last 3 years I've visited China on different programs, and it was intentional because I wanted to see why it is that they were so successful. And it's amazing how from some very tender ages that persons identify what their passion is, identify what they are good at in terms of their talents, and they make these gifts and talents their success stories. And so sometimes we have to identify what our skill sets are and see who can help us to better our craft. And those cannot stand alone, as I said earlier. We need to make sure that those soft skills go hand in hand, because those two are very important.
You have our attention. We have so many questions that we think you'll be the best person to ask. So what I've done is I've tried to condense the frequently asked questions into 2 quick fires remaining. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Thank you, panelists. So the first, we will just ask that we move down the line. Just give us 3 short responses based on what our student listeners and our learners are asking. Can you tell us 3 things that you have had to, and we might have to sacrifice on our way to mastering our skills? Just give us the 3. Doesn't need to be in a sentence. Since you just spoke, Shawna, would it be okay if we start here? Lady Morgan, please. 3 things you have had to sacrifice, or 3 things we should be prepared to sacrifice in mastering and achieving. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
No pressure.
Okay, so I'll say self-doubt, definitely. Banish self-doubt and learning. There are a lot of times that we doubt ourselves in our own abilities and our skills. Like even today when I said, I don't know why I'm coming here to speak because I don't have any skills. But banish self-doubt and flourish. Letting go of people who you think are always going to move up with you. Sometimes you have to shed their weight and move up and master your own skills because everybody doesn't share the same skills as you. And frivolous things, because if you let go of frivolous things, you're better able to manage your time, like we've been talking about so often, and really zoom in and focus on exactly what it is that you want to do. So self-doubt, mastering your
shedding dead load,
your time management, and shedding your dead weight.
Sir Javian, give us your 3, please.
Thank you, sir. My 3, I would say time, is number 1. Friends, that's number 2. And number 3 is energy. Energy is a quite funny one for me because I'm actually coming from work, from an overnight shift. So, as you can see, I am just trying to propel towards my goals. So, you know, that energy that I would have loved to have a restful sleep last night, I used it to get some work done so that I can be a step closer to my goals and my dreams. Time, in terms of you are going to have to put in the work. Man them, you go have to put in the work. Females, you are going to have to put in the work. You cannot expect to be successful and be lazy. You have to work, you have to try. If you fail, you get up, you brush off, try again. Think logistically to see how best you can attack certain situations if you're trying to do it the same way. Only an insane person does the same thing the same way and expects different results. And then the last one is friends, and that is one that everyone is supposed to know about. You are going to have to cut off, let me put it in quotation, friends. Because sometimes the people who you think are with you, or you think are for you, are not for you. Sometimes the people who you might think that, yo, I'm a virgin this, I'm a party, you want to see me succeed. They don't want to see you succeed. They want to see you fail because they know and they fear your potential. So some of these friends, you're going to have to lose them so that you can elevate and matriculate. That's it from me.
For me, I would say discipline. You know, I was not a disciplined person. I'm the kind of person who I will start something and I don't see results and I move on to the next. But when I started spending some time and investing in my craft and learn to be disciplined and honing it, that's when I actually saw some real results. So discipline is very important. The second thing that I would say is have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Let me tell you something. We are our biggest critics. For me, I will know that I have something to do and I talk myself out of it. And then when I stop talking myself out of the skill sets that I have, I realize that my life elevated. I realize that I'm able to connect with persons on a different level. So have faith in yourself, be disciplined. And my most important skill that you should have is be curious. Always be willing to learn. Be curious. If you're in a specific field, be ever learning. Learn as much as you can. Create a niche for yourself and build a personal brand. People are going to come to you for you. There is magic in how you do what you do. So build your personal brand. Be disciplined and of course, be curious.
All right, so just to confirm, it is the three things that we should shed, sacrifice,
Yes,
sacrifice. Sleep, money, and pride.
Sleep, money, and pride.
Yep.
Hope you're listening. All right, thank you. Shawna, please.
My three things that we have to be prepared to give up if you want to succeed. You have to give up complacency. You have to give up fear, because fear cripples you, and you have to develop your faith. And the third thing is that you have to give up mediocrity. You can't settle for less. You must always strive to be your best. Those are my three.
Fantastic. I know, and I think you know too, that we would want to pick your brains for as long as you would let us. I am pretty sure, in tandem with our coordinators and the marketing team, we can arrange for some continued interfacing. And since you all are involved in education, we hope that you continue to touch and extend those arms and those tidbits of wisdom to everyone you may meet. There is so much I'd love to say. There's so much the members on the internet would love to say, but we can only communicate it in the ways we can by saying thank you, and thank you very much to our 5 panelists. To extend an official thanks, a vote of thanks, a commemoration of a wonderful, exciting event, I'd like to introduce you to someone who I'm not sure if the coordinators themselves knew how perfect he was for this position. I'll quickly say, this is what you call 5 degrees of connection. Ms. Keller's relative is an esteemed lawman. Can I say that? He has the opportunity to mark CAPE examination papers. Can I also say that? If I'm going over the record, my legal advisor, your legal team will stop me. Here's the connection. I received a special communique from her exemplary brother telling me about an exemplary assignment submitted because there was never one done before. It was about a topic that our other speaker, who's also from the community college, mentioned as one of his entrepreneurial moves: Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and foreign exchange. I want to just let you know that the young man that is going to issue the official vote of thanks is exactly what you would have wanted to see. Someone who is inspired by all 5 of you, someone who seeks to develop his skills every day, wastes no time, no money, and doesn't hurt friends. Our vote of thanks is being delivered to us by one of our future stars. I'd like to welcome Daniel Chapman to the podium.
Porter Linton, Associate Dean, Mrs. Nicola Beckford Cameron, our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this momentous occasion on behalf of the students and staff of the illustrious Faculty of Arts, Natural and Social Sciences at the Montego Community College. I would like to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing us with their presence and providing us with important information that will serve to propel us further in life. I would like to thank our moderator, Mr. Lynch Sinclair, Applied taking us through the program with much ease and fluidity. Special thanks to our principal, who provided us with a platform to host this seminar, and for her very encouraging words and best wishes expressed to us as we seek to continue on our fulfilling our dreams. Importantly, it would be remiss of me to not extend gratitude to the Student Development Seminar Committee, spearheaded by Committee Chairperson, Ms. Juvel Taylor, who for weeks entered uncharted territories to plan this prestigious seminar, a first of its kind COVID style. Undoubtedly, we can confirm that it has been a very challenging year, and I know that as students we can attest to the fact that this event provided upliftment that was well needed, especially after a difficult year. To all our panelists and our guest speaker, Mr. Alec Tomlin, who took the time out to grace us with your presence and share with us their nuggets of hope and guide us for our unpredictable future. We appreciate it. Also, to our marketing director, Ms. Garcia Reed, our IT department and Ventura Photography and Videography Services, who worked assiduously to ensure that the room was prepared for the execution of the event and the infrastructure was in place so that we could have a successful stream this event. We say a big thank you to my colleagues who participated in one way or another. Today, it would have never been the same without you. Finally, to all the students who tune in online to share this moment with friends and family members, I salute you. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are grateful to every participant who contributed to the success of today's event. It was a great pleasure to be here, and I do hope that as we leave here today, we will definitely strive to master our academics and harness our skills as we seek to rise above the odds that may exist in the world. Once again, thank you.
Thank you again, Dominic Chapman. So very quickly, this young man, student of MBCC, wrote a paper on the science of cryptocurrency and the skills our leaders would require in order to improve our foreign capabilities as well as the laws surrounding Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He received a distinction for it. He's one of our CAPE awardees for it, and he has also shown that research has been undertaken also related to and as a result of how much he was able to find out about the global legal provisions and the situation that our leaders will need to take on. So he is honest in his word and his work that he will listen to you panelists and master his skills and his academics in this world. So that vote of thanks includes you too, Mr. Chapman. Wonderful. Today we focused on looking at the students that will impact tomorrow by introducing you to some students who impacted today and even meeting those who impacted them then. We had a wonderful journey across time, But the most important time is now. We will be mastering these skills, we will be achieving, and this changing world will find us ready and willing. On behalf of the entire team at the Montego Bay Community College, our sponsors, our invited guests, our members to be, our parents, deciding where to send their young ones. Today is just an example of the elements, the intrigue, and the thrill of being a member of the Montego Bay Community College team. I am a very proud member, and I invite you to bring your love and your wisdom here, the premier campus in the West. This was the 2021 showing of our virtual student seminar, Purposeful Positioning. See you at the next one. Be safe. Walk good. Take care.